Story 1. Curiosity. I like people who are curious and inquisitive about the world around them. It makes a ton of difference in how I perceive them and how I interact with them. I cannot stand people who just do not care about anything and do not know anything about anything because they do not care. Story 2. Confidence. No real explanation needed. Just be confident in what you do and who you are, and everything will feel much easier and more enjoyable in life. Story 3. A sharp wit. There is nothing sexier than someone who can verbally spar with you and leave you thinking, did I just get roasted or fall in love? Bonus points if they can pull it off without being mean. It is like intellectual foreplay with a dash of charisma. Keeps the conversation spicy, and let us face it, brains and humor age a lot better than abs. Story 4. Manners. Compassion. Sense of humor. Ambition, not greed, but ambition in the sense of striving to reach high goals. Decisiveness. Open-mindedness. Receptiveness as an opposite to stubbornness. Story 5. If you are 25 years or older and still smile or laugh, I will instantly notice you. Your energy is magnetic to me because you have not let the world harden you. That in itself is a huge accomplishment. Or someone who can stand alone and be comfortable in their own company. Story 6. Being a normal person. Crazy, I know, but half the people I see on dating apps are a lifestyle. I don't want to date a lifestyle, whether it's working out, clubbing, social media, etc. Don't get me wrong, interests and hobbies are wonderful, but don't make them your entire personality and don't expect me to change everything about myself to fit your lifestyle. Even worse is expecting me to give up my hobbies for all of yours. Story 7. Kindness. When I first started dating my partner, we were hit with a hurricane. As soon as we made sure our property was good and the animals were safe, she started loading up a chainsaw, chain, handsaws, and gas cans into her truck, and we went out to find random people who needed help. It was just her knee-jerk reaction to the storm. I knew right there that she was going to be my wife one day. Story 8. This might sound weird, but I find certain types of awkwardness very attractive. An example might be social awkwardness, like being clumsy in social situations. Story 9. Negativity is a turn-off. This doesn't mean you can't have bad days or react appropriately to a bad situation, but so many people are just negative, glass half-empty types, and I find it frustrating to be around. Story 10. The tendency to work hard and be successful in their career while still being relaxed when you spend time with them, knowing when to switch it on and switch off. Story 11. Enthusiasm. I didn't realize how unexcited my former partner was until I met my current partner. Anytime there was something I wanted us to do, my former partner would just say, meh, all right, or simply no. I invited my new partner to a concert for our third date. She said, I've never heard of that band, but heck yes, even in day-to-day life, she is excited to do just about anything. So refreshing. Story 12. Intelligence. I love it when a person can humble me with their ability to have insights and make connections that would not have occurred to me. I just love being exposed to new ideas and perspectives. Story 13. Dark humor. Doesn't take herself that seriously, is kind, backs me up, still likes old-fashioned letters and love gestures. All of these things are, of course, reciprocal from my side too. Story 14. I'd say being easygoing and having a sense of humor. Sometimes life doesn't work the way you want it to. Traffic is bad, you're late for a concert or whatever. I don't take life very seriously, and I think it's attractive when others don't either. I'm a huge Alan Watts fan. Story 15. Curiosity doesn't have to involve being knowledgeable about the topic or even being extremely interested in something. If one is curious, it opens many interesting ways to look at things. Story 16. Willingness to walk places. If it's within a mile or two, honestly, and the weather is nice, we are in a walkable area, and there's no major time crunch, I want to walk there. It bums me out when I've decided with someone to go somewhere very nearby, and they expect to drive. Story 17. Someone who can carry a conversation. I am an ambivert. I know when I need to communicate or be friendly, but it is tiring for me. There are so many places where adults just do not know how to talk or ask reciprocating questions. Story 18. Confidence, being comfortable with yourself and others, openness to ideas, natural curiosity, energy, active engagement, empathy, or at least the desire not to harm others, and assertiveness. I've been attracted to people of all shapes, sizes, and genders who had those traits. Story 19. I find it super endearing when someone gets genuinely excited or passionate about something in their lives, like a hobby or unique interest. Nonchalance is so boring. Bring back all the chalance. Story 20. An open and flexible mind is essential. Reacting to the unusual or unexpected with consideration instead of negativity and hostility is very attractive. Combine that with empathy, and it is exceptionally appealing. Story 21. Confidence, affection, and empathy. The latter isn't an uncommon trait, but I've met people who had the kindness to empathize with others in a way that left me open-mouthed and actually very touched. I think that's something I'd like in a partner. The ability to relate to people and care. Story 22. The ability to apologize. It's hard for me, but I like when men are emotionally mature enough to know when they are wrong and it does not hurt them to admit it. Story 23. Engaging. Had dinner with an attractive girl not too long ago. Completely forgot she was physically attractive and had the most fun conversation just based on her listening to me and me doing the same. Story 24. Banter and wit. Hands down. There is nothing like someone who can keep up in a game of verbal ping pong. It's the mental equivalent of foreplay. Sparks flying, no bruises, just perfectly timed comebacks that leave you grinning like an idiot. Story 25. Purpose. I don't care if you're the chief executive officer or a janitor. If I ask you what you want out of life, I've heard everything from to provide for my kids to help my mom someday. But there's no bigger turnoff than someone who is just going through life not caring enough to want anything better. Story 26. In my boyfriend, I love his voice, intelligence, and sense of humor. And most importantly, he is never rude to me, no matter how many tantrums I show him. Story 27. An open mind that is willing to be challenged on their current thinking or perspective. Being willing to explore someone else's perspective without being offended. Patience, calm energy, self-awareness, and communication. Story 28. Speaking about things they care about with passion and conviction, being able to recite poetry with good timing and speech, being articulate, a good dancer, they encourage others, a good cook, don't take themselves too seriously, sense of style, humor that doesn't put people down, good taste in music and movies, talent, kinda animals, makes others feel included, has a cool family, leaves room for the possibility of being wrong, humble confidence, takes initiative rather than complains, encourages you to try new things, they are open to trying new things, thinks logically and critically, has goals, isn't a Republican. Story 29. I think it's very attractive when someone loves animals not just by being a cat or dog person. How they treat animals shows how much they value other living beings. Story 30. The most important trait in my partner is that they find me funny. It might be an ego thing, but it's also because I've learned from experience that if you don't find me funny, you find me annoying. Story 31. Sincerely. Integrity. Intelligence. These are the qualities I look for in friends. Of course, having a good sense of humor is amazing, but a person who can never be serious and is always goofing off can get tiresome. More often than not, a friendship built on a sense of humor alone can be very superficial, as they won't have the emotional depth or maturity to make it work. Story 32. Someone that acts like your girlfriend when they should. A mix between loving, kindness, and correcting you when you're wrong. Someone who doesn't want you for your money. Someone who doesn't want you because other people will be jealous. Someone who wants you because they love and care for you. Someone who gives you emotional support when you need it. That kind of thing. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Story 33. Curiosity, especially if combined with being a good listener. It's so hot to see someone listen with genuine interest. Also, literacy, as in having a solid vocabulary and knowing how to pack complex thoughts into long sentences. It's just pleasant to read or listen to such a person. Story 34. Manners, generosity, kindness, humor, stability, financial and emotional, decisiveness, open-mindedness, and not a judgmental person, with a supportive and caring personality. Story 35. Wit is the single most attractive trait for me, having an eloquent way with words. It translates into good humor, good diplomacy, good communication overall, and shows that a person can and has read a book. Story 36. Well, if it's non-physical, I appreciate their functional and radically emergent traits. Everything else is reducible to physical properties. I'll show myself out. Story 37. The ability to be compassionate, soft, and feminine is something severely lacking in most women today. Many women don't realize how valuable that is to men. It attracts them much more than emphasizing physical attributes. Story 38. Kindness, intelligence, sense of humor, loves to laugh, loves animals, says a lot about a person, and loves to participate in life, especially in the great outdoors. Story 39. There are studies linking a good sense of humor to higher levels of both cognitive and emotional intelligence, which tracks with my personal experience. It also happens that my husband is hilarious. We are a great comedic duo. Story 40. A reliable and attentive person, like for me as a girl, if I can tell a guy all my problems and stories, and he would sit and listen and give me solutions. I find that really attractive. Story 41. When someone gets emotional, I'm currently breaking free of a lot of emotional repression, so emotions are constantly on my mind, and it's so sexy to hear someone tell their weird thoughts and feelings. Works better than pornography. Story 42. Kindness. Something I have realized in the last few years is how attractive it is when someone is kind to everyone, including strangers and sometimes including those who may not deserve it. I have learned that I find I'll be kind if they deserve or earn it to be unattractive. Story 43. Intelligence. I don't mean simply being book smart or professionally qualified, but having the intellect to see and judge things or issues, as well as solve problems that crop up in daily situations. Like seeing a Facebook ad and immediately recognizing it's a scam, or knowing that the first empty lot they pass in a car park is not always the most efficient spot to park in. Story 44. My thing is hard to find. I like women who are strong-willed and assertive, but not overly controlling or demanding. Just a strong woman. I don't like overly submissive women. I don't want a traditional housewife. I want a wife who will say, "We're in this 50-50, so get yourself together." Story 45. I find attractive. Logical, punctual, helpful, caring, reliable, empathetic, organized, dedicated, resourceful, respectful, compassionate, proactive, trustworthy, intuitive, patient, disciplined, supportive, considerate, thorough, creative, adaptable, honest, innovative, driven, optimistic, detail-oriented, flexible, collaborative, motivated, understanding, efficient, passionate, reflective, accountable, insightful, humble, ambitious, strategic, curious, sincere, persistent, open-minded, enthusiastic, energetic, courageous, assertive, thoughtful, selfless, confident, hardworking, resilient, systematic, balanced, cooperative, insightful, dependable, efficient, perceptive, analytical, visionary, loyal, meticulous, determined, nurturing, practical, discerning, communicative, encouraging, inspiring, open-hearted, intentional, disciplined. Story 46. Is that a real question? It's different for most, isn't it? Character attracts me the most, like it should for most. When I see an attractive guy, I'm drawn, but when I see someone letting out a bit of honest character, I picture our wedding. And it can be the smallest thing. Story 47. Kindness, empathy, accountability, respect, trustworthiness, patience, manners, being a gentleman, having a beautiful way with words and communication, and unbridled loyalty to me. Story 48. Laughter at the right time at the right jokes. If we don't align on what's funny, then we are probably going to have a harder time with a bunch of things. Story 49. Kindness. Also, nerdiness. Not the bad clingy kind that's like, actually, unless you took that feat you are half a foot short of. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons gal, and I love me a nerd. Story 50. Random things like when men push their glasses up or their hair out of their face. Edit. I didn't fully read the question. Desire for knowledge and adventure. Story 51. Being social and confident. For some reason, I gravitate towards more socially awkward people, but I always feel so bad when I introduce them to friends or family. Instead of seeing them have fun, all I see is them being uncomfortable and wanting to leave as soon as possible. I went through rougher social periods, but I find it very attractive knowing I can leave them alone at social gatherings without having to worry myself. In the end, I'm fine with it, but I find it so attractive in people when they don't need me to hold their hand. Story 52. Ambition and drive. The desire to keep learning, growing, and being a better person every day. Reach goals, whether it is work, career, life, health, and so on. I am into fitness, so staying active and making good health decisions. Story 53. Humility. People who are condescending to others or try to put someone down passively are actually untruthful and insecure and just trying to sell themselves high. People who are truthful and worthy are actually pretty humble. And by condescending, I don't mean people who are trying to give genuine advice. Story 54. This. People who have the ability to be genuine, the ability to speak from the heart, and honesty. Those who voice their vulnerabilities and have the ability to listen to and accept others as they are. These people are the genuinely resilient and open ones. This. Story 55. A calm, patient, and kind temperament is very attractive to me because I was constantly walking on eggshells as a child with my narcissistic dad. Of course, I've learned to pick up on the calm and patient sociopath versus someone who is genuinely kind. I had an ex who always maintained a calm and patient demeanor, so I found that very attractive. However, I then realized that he is incapable of empathy. I think it's because his mom had a personality disorder. I now pick up on whether someone exhibits kindness, possibly through subtle gestures, but shows that he is capable of empathy and caring about other people.